Chosen one, you just unlocked level 777, and God is saying, finally, your wealth signal is activated. This is not about luck. This is not about hype. This is about the moment when the signal inside you stops agreeing with survival and begins aligning with divine provision. You were not led here by accident. Something higher has interrupted your ordinary rhythm because the old financial story over your life is ready to be challenged. For years, you may have felt like abundance was close but unreachable. You worked, you prayed, you tried to stay faithful, yet every time you moved toward increase, pressure pulled you back into fear. But God is revealing the deeper issue now. The door was not the only thing being prepared. You were being prepared. Level 777 means a hidden stage has been completed. The static is breaking. The old agreement with lack is losing authority. The version of you that chased, panicked, and questioned every blessing is being replaced by a calmer, wiser, more aligned version. God is not activating your wealth signal so you can chase harder. He is activating it so you can receive clearer, steward better, and walk through the next door without returning to the old frequency. Listen carefully, because this message is not just here to excite you for a few minutes. It is here to explain what has been happening behind the scenes of your life. If you stay with this until the end, you will understand why the old pattern kept repeating, why certain doors almost opened but stopped, what level 777 really means for your next season, how fear and pressure may have been crowding your ability to receive, and how to protect the signal God is activating inside you now. You will also hear a practical way to recognize when you are moving from panic into alignment, so you do not sabotage what God is preparing to place in your hands. Because this next level is not only about what God gives you, it is about who you become when the door finally opens. And that is where most people miss it. They pray for provision, but they do not prepare their inner world to carry provision. They ask for increase, but they still speak to themselves like someone who expects loss. They believe God can open a door, but they keep living as if the door will close the moment they get close. Chosen one. That old rhythm is being interrupted. There is a reason the words wealth signal are being placed before you now. It is not because wealth is your God. It is not because money is your identity. It is not because your worth can be measured by what is in your account, what you own, or what other people think you have achieved. No, this is about signal. This is about alignment. This is about the part of you that was trained by survival, disappointment, pressure, and repeated delays until your inner world began expecting shortage, even while your spirit was praying for abundance. You can pray for open doors while secretly expecting them to shut. You can ask God for increase while still carrying the fear that you will lose everything. You can say you believe in divine provision while making every decision from panic, urgency, and the memory of what went wrong before. That does not mean your faith is fake. It means your signal has been crowded, and God is not condemning you for that. He is revealing it so you can become free. For a long time, you may have thought the problem was only outside of you. The economy, the family you came from, the missed opportunity, the person who betrayed you, the job that drained you, the season that took more from you than it gave back. And yes, some of those things were real. Some of those things hurt. Some of those things delayed you. Some of those things forced you to become stronger than you ever wanted to be. But there is another layer. There is a deeper layer. There is a hidden layer that God is bringing into the light. The signal was never gone. It was buried. It was buried under the voice that said, "Every time I get close, something goes wrong." It was buried under the memory of almost having enough, then watching another bill appear. It was buried under the pressure of helping everyone, while quietly wondering who would help you. It was buried under the habit of expecting disappointment before the blessing even had time to arrive. It was buried under the identity of someone who learned how to survive, but forgot what it felt like to receive. And I hear the Father saying, "My child, I did not remove the signal. I protected it until you were ready to hear it clearly again. That is why level 777 matters. It is not a random phrase. It is not a shallow symbol. It is not something to treat lightly. In this message, level 777 represents a completed hidden stage. It represents the moment when heaven says, the formation has reached a threshold. The old level has taught what it needed to teach. The next level can now be revealed. But before you can understand the next level, you have to understand the old one. The old level was survival. Survival taught you how to keep going when there was no applause. Survival taught you how to stretch what little you had. Survival taught you how to pray when your hands were empty. Survival taught you how to stand when your emotions wanted to collapse. But survival was never meant to become your permanent language. Survival was a season. It was not your name. Survival was a training ground. It was not your inheritance. Survival was a bridge. It was not your final home. And some of you have been living so long in that old frequency that even when God begins to send something better, a part of you still looks for the hidden catch. You see a door opening, but instead of peace, you feel suspicion. You receive an opportunity, but instead of gratitude, your mind starts calculating how it might fail. You hear a promise, but before hope can rise, old disappointment steps in and says, do not believe too much. You remember what happened last time. Chosen one, that voice is not wisdom. It is old pain trying to protect itself. And this is the moment God is separating your wisdom from your wound. Because real wisdom helps you discern. But wounded fear teaches you to reject everything that feels unfamiliar, even when it is sent by God. That is why the activation had to happen at the signal level, not just at the surface, not just in your circumstances, not just in your schedule, your job, your relationships, or your bank account. At the signal level. Because when the signal changes, the way you interpret life changes. When the signal changes, your decisions change. When the signal changes, your reaction to delay changes. When the signal changes, you stop seeing every closed door as rejection and start asking, what is God protecting me from, and what is He preparing me for? This is why God is saying, finally. Not because He was impatient with you. Not because He was angry that you needed time. Not because He was waiting for you to be perfect. But because something in you has finally stopped bowing to the old story. There was a time when lack could define your mood for the whole day. There was a time when one setback could make you question your entire destiny. There was a time when someone else's success felt like proof that God had skipped over you. There was a time when you could not imagine receiving without immediately fearing the loss of what you received. But that version of you is losing authority. Slowly, quietly, deeply, God has been changing the way you carry pressure. You still feel pressure, but pressure does not own you the same way. You still face uncertainty, but uncertainty does not get to rename you. You still have questions, but your questions no longer cancel your faith. That is the difference between someone who is begging for the next level and someone who is being prepared to walk in it. Now listen closely, because this is where the spiritual and the practical begin to meet. There is a reason stress makes it hard to receive clearly. There is a reason fear makes every decision feel urgent. There is a reason panic makes you chase doors that were never assigned to you, while ignoring the quiet door God is actually opening. When your inner world is locked in survival, your mind keeps scanning for danger. It looks for what could go wrong. It expects shortage. It clings to control. It overthinks what should be simple and rushes what should be surrendered. That survival state is loud. It is restless. It is exhausting. And it can make divine provision feel far away. Not because God is far, but because the inner noise is too loud for you to recognize the direction He is giving. This is what many people do not understand. Sometimes the blessing is not absent. Sometimes the signal is distorted. Sometimes the door is not missing. Sometimes your ability to recognize the door is crowded by fear. Sometimes God is speaking softly, but survival is shouting. And this is why the shift from stress into calm alignment matters so much. In a state of pressure, you react. In a state of alignment, you discern. In a state of pressure, you chase. In a state of alignment, you recognize. In a state of pressure, you force. In a state of alignment, you cooperate. In a state of pressure, you keep asking, what if I lose? In a state of alignment, you begin asking, what is God teaching me to carry? This is the hidden bridge. Your wealth signal is not just about wanting more. It is about becoming clear enough to recognize what God is sending, disciplined enough to steward it, and calm enough not to destroy it through panic. Because some blessings do not require more effort. They require a different state, a different agreement, a different inner posture, a different signal. And later, I am going to show you why this matters so deeply, because there is a simple frequency bridge connected to this exact shift. It is not magic. It is not a shortcut. It is not a replacement for prayer, wisdom, discipline, or aligned action. But it may help explain why so many traditional methods fail when the inner signal is still trapped in survival. But first, you need to understand why level 777 opened now. Why not last year? Why not when you first started praying? Why not when you were desperate? Why not when you were crying out for a sign and asking God to prove that He had not forgotten you? Because God does not only prepare blessings, He prepares vessels. And there are doors that cannot open safely until the person walking through them has been formed enough to carry what is on the other side. Joseph did not go from the pit to the palace in one day. There was a process. There was betrayal. There was hiddenness. There was false accusation. There was waiting. There was a prison season nobody would have chosen. But in that hidden place, Joseph was not just suffering. He was being trained. He was learning administration. He was learning interpretation. He was learning emotional restraint. He was learning how to handle responsibility without losing his soul. He was learning how to be trusted with resources before a nation ever needed him. The palace did not create Joseph's gift. The palace revealed what the hidden season had already formed. Chosen one, that is why you cannot despise what God used to prepare you. The delay taught you discernment. The lack taught you stewardship. The rejection taught you not to build your identity on applause. The closed doors taught you that not every opportunity is your assignment. The silence taught you how to listen beneath the noise. What felt like punishment was preparation. What felt like being forgotten was formation. What felt like being held back was protection. What felt like loss was sometimes God removing what would have collapsed under the weight of your next level. This is why level 777 is not simply a celebration. It is a confirmation. It means a hidden stage has reached completion. It means God has been watching how you handled the season when nobody understood the pressure on you. It means the old level has done its work. It means your inner world has been trained in ways you could not see while it was happening. But there is one thing you must understand before this part closes. An activated signal can still be crowded by old noise. That is why you cannot treat this message as entertainment. You cannot hear, your wealth signal is activated, and then return to the old agreement with fear. You cannot receive this as confirmation and then go back to speaking over yourself like nothing ever changes for you. You cannot keep declaring that God is opening a new level while making decisions from the same panic that ruled the old one. The next battle is not about whether God can activate the signal. The next battle is whether you will protect it. Protect it from desperation. Protect it from comparison. Protect it from the habit of chasing what was never assigned to you. Protect it from the voice that says, "This is too good to be real." Protect it from the old version of you that only feels safe when life is familiar, even if familiar means limited. Because sometimes people do not sabotage blessings because they hate themselves. They sabotage blessings because peace feels unfamiliar. Increase feels unfamiliar. Being chosen for more feels unfamiliar. Receiving without panic feels unfamiliar. And when something unfamiliar arrives, The old identity tries to drag you back to what it knows. But God is saying, do not go back. Do not go back to shrinking your prayers so they fit your fear. Do not go back to calling yourself unlucky because a door took longer than expected. Do not go back to confusing delay with denial. Do not go back to believing that your past financial struggle has the authority to prophesy your future. It does not. The old signal had a voice, but it does not get the final word. The old season had weight, but it does not get to name you. The old pressure shaped you, but it does not get to own you. You are crossing a threshold, and this is the holy tension of level 777. The gate has opened, but the new level requires a new response. The signal is activated, but the signal must be protected. The old story is breaking, but you must stop giving it your agreement. And when the next part of this message unfolds, you are going to understand how to recognize the signal leaks in your life, how to move from fear into alignment, why wealth is not only a door but a frequency you steward, and how God is teaching you to receive without losing your peace. Because the real secret is not only how the signal became activated, the real secret is how to keep it from being buried again. And if you can understand that, chosen one, you will not just wait for the next door. You will become the person who can walk through it. And that begins with a different kind of awareness. Chosen one. Before you can protect the signal, you have to recognize where the signal has been leaking. Because not everything that drains you looks dangerous at first. Sometimes, the thing that weakens your signal looks normal. It looks like one conversation where you shrink yourself again. It looks like one thought that says, maybe nothing will change. It looks like one decision made from panic instead of peace. It looks like one old environment pulling you back into the version of you God already delivered you from. This is why you need what I call the signal audit. Not a physical checklist. Not something you have to write down right now. Just an honest inner examination. Ask yourself quietly, what thought keeps pulling me back into lack? Not what problem exists outside of you. Not what bill is still unpaid. Not what door has not opened yet. Go deeper. What thought keeps returning like an old visitor? Is it, I am always behind? Is it, every time something good happens, something bad follows? Is it, other people receive but I only survive? Is it, I am not the kind of person life opens for? That thought is not just a thought. It is a signal. It is a broadcast. It is the language your inner world learned while trying to survive. And once you see it, you can stop agreeing with it. Then ask yourself, what environment makes me forget who I am? For some of you, it is not one person. It is a whole atmosphere. A room where your faith gets smaller. A conversation where your vision gets mocked. A familiar place where the old version of you feels invited to come back. A circle where survival is treated like wisdom and abundance is treated like arrogance. Chosen one, every environment has a language. Some environments speak fear. Some environments speak smallness. Some environments speak urgency. Some environments speak doubt. And some environments speak alignment. This next level will require you to become more careful about what you allow to speak over your signal. Not because you are fragile, because you are carrying something that must be protected before it becomes visible. Then ask yourself, what decision am I about to make from fear instead of alignment? This question matters because many people do not miss divine doors because they are lazy. They miss divine doors because they are rushed. They are so tired of waiting that they start grabbing anything that looks like movement. They are so afraid of being left behind that they mistake pressure for instruction. They are so desperate for proof that they run toward doors God never asked them to enter. But the activated version of you moves differently. The activated version of you does not chase every noise. The activated version of you does not confuse speed with obedience. The activated version of you does not call panic a sign. The activated version of you can pause inwardly and ask, is this fear speaking or is this alignment leading? That is the beginning of stewardship. And if this message is already speaking to the deepest part of you, and you are able to return to this safely later, write these words in the comments. My signal is protected, not as a performance, not as a ritual, but as a simple declaration that the old frequency does not get unlimited access to your future. Because here is the deeper truth. Wealth is not only a door God opens. Wealth is a frequency you steward. That does not mean money is mystical in a childish way. It does not mean you can ignore responsibility, wisdom, discipline, or wise action. It means that increase carries weight. Provision carries responsibility. A wider door requires a steadier spirit. Some people pray for more, but more would only multiply their anxiety. Some people ask for overflow, but overflow would expose the cracks they refuse to heal. Some people want the palace, but they still think like the prison. Some people want the harvest, but they still speak like the famine. And God loves them too much to hand them something that would crush them before it blesses them. That is why He works on the signal first. He works on the inner agreement. He works on the fear that has been running the decisions. He works on the identity that expects rejection. He works on the belief that says, if something good arrives, I will lose it. He works on the part of you that keeps trying to prove you are worthy of what He already decided to give by grace. And I hear the Father saying, I did not activate your signal so you could return to the old frequency. Sit with that. God did not bring you to level 777 so you could keep living like level 1. He did not bring you through hidden formation so you could run back to familiar limitation. He did not teach you discernment so you could keep asking fear for permission. He did not give you a clearer signal so you could crowd it again with the same noise that once buried it. This is the moment when the old agreement begins to lose its legal language in your life. The agreement that said, I always struggle. The agreement that said, nothing works for me. The agreement that said, I am too late. The agreement that said, I am not chosen for increase. The agreement that said, I can carry pain, but I cannot carry provision. That agreement is breaking, but you must stop renewing it with your own mouth. You must stop feeding it with your attention. You must stop letting it interpret every delay, every test, every quiet season, and every unfinished process. Chosen one. This is where the Alpha Alignment Protocol begins. Again, this is not something physical you have to perform. If you are resting, stay resting. If you are driving, keep your attention where it needs to be. This is an inward shift, a command you give to your inner world. When fear begins to rush you, say within yourself, I return to the clear signal. When pressure tries to make you force a door, say within yourself, I do not move from panic. When the old story tries to tell you nothing has changed, say within yourself, God is not finished forming the evidence. That is the protocol. You stop before agreement. You listen beneath urgency. You ask whether the decision is being led by fear or alignment. Then you choose from calm authority, not emotional pressure, because the beta state of survival is loud. It pushes, it rushes, it tightens your vision until all you can see is the problem. It makes every delay feel like danger. It makes every decision feel like it must happen immediately. It makes you react to life as if God has stepped away. But alpha alignment is different. Alpha alignment is not laziness. It is not passivity. It is not ignoring reality. It is the state where your inner world becomes clear enough to recognize divine instruction. It is the place where you can still see the problem, but the problem no longer controls the room inside you. It is the place where your spirit can hear what fear kept interrupting. This is why your wealth signal matters. Not because it makes you worship money, not because it turns provision into an idol, but because the old financial pain trained your inner world to expect shortage, and God is now teaching your inner world to recognize provision without panic. There is a simple tool connected to this exact bridge, and I want to speak about it carefully, because this is not about forcing anything on you. It is called the wealth signal. It is a short digital audio track designed to be listened to for about 5 minutes a day in a safe and quiet moment with headphones when you are able. It is built around the idea of helping your mind shift away from the stress-heavy beta state and into a calmer alpha state where clarity, flow, and receptivity become easier to access. This is not magic. This is not a replacement for prayer. This is not a replacement for discipline. This is not a replacement for wise decisions. And it is not a promise that you can avoid responsibility. Think of it more like a recalibration tool. If your mind has been like a radio trapped on a static channel, the wealth signal is designed to help support the turning of the dial, not to do your life for you, not to replace your obedience, but to help create an inner state where you can stop reacting from survival and start responding from alignment. For those who feel led to investigate it, the information can be placed beneath this message for you. Take your time, use discernment. Let your spirit test whether it feels aligned for your season. And whether you use that tool or not, do not miss the principle. Your state matters. Your agreement matters. Your signal matters. Because the door God is opening will require more than excitement. It will require steadiness. This is where the stewardship gate comes in. Before you walk into increase, ask yourself, can I receive without panic? Not, can I receive without any questions? You may still have questions. Not, can I receive while understanding every detail? You may not understand every detail, but can you receive without immediately letting fear take the steering wheel? Can you let something good arrive without interrogating it until it loses its sacredness? Can you allow God to bless you without apologizing for being blessed? Can you stop treating provision like something you have to beg to keep? Then ask, can I increase without losing humility? Because the purpose of wealth in the hands of a chosen one is not ego, it is not vanity, it is not proving your enemies wrong, it is not becoming untouchable so nobody can hurt you again. The purpose is stewardship. You are blessed to build. You are provided for to pour. You are elevated to serve with greater clarity. You are increased so the assignment can breathe. That is why Joseph matters in this message. When he reached the palace, he did not use his authority to become reckless. He used wisdom to preserve life. He became a steward of grain, timing, strategy, and responsibility. The wealth around him did not own him, because the hidden season had already formed him. That is the difference. If wealth owns you, it becomes a chain. If God trusts you with provision, it becomes a channel. Then ask, can I manage provision without worshipping it? This is important, chosen one. Money can serve purpose, but it cannot become your source. Resources can support the calling, but they cannot replace the one who called you. Increase can open options, but it cannot become your identity. That is why God forms the heart before he expands the hand. He teaches you to receive without becoming arrogant. He teaches you to carry more without forgetting who carried you. He teaches you to walk through open doors without despising the wilderness that trained your feet. And this is why your identity must change now. You are not the old financial story. You are not the panic that visited you in the delay. You are not the lack that shaped your early decisions. You are not the disappointment that made you afraid to hope. You are not the voice that told you abundance was for everyone except you. You are the seer who can recognize patterns before others can name them. You are the builder who is being trusted with structure, order, and something that can last. You are the cycle breaker who refuses to pass down the language of lack. You are the spiritual warrior who does not collapse under pressure. You are the steward who understands that provision is sacred when it is surrendered to purpose. You are allowed to outgrow survival. You are allowed to outgrow the version of you that only knew how to brace for loss. You are allowed to receive without guilt. You are allowed to build without apologizing. You are allowed to protect what God is activating in you. You are allowed to become unavailable to the old frequency. And you do not owe the old story an explanation for leaving it behind. Now let this become a mental picture inside you. Do not move your body. Do not force anything. Just let your inner world see it. Imagine a gate before you with the number 777 written above it in light. Behind you is the old road, the road of panic, the road of chasing, the road of almost enough, the road where every blessing felt temporary and every delay felt personal. You are not cursing that road. You are not pretending it did not teach you. You are simply recognizing that it is no longer the road assigned to your next level. Now imagine the static around you fading, not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily, like a signal becoming clear after years of interruption. The noise of lack gets quieter. The voice of fear steps back. The old expectation of disappointment loses its grip. And within you, speak this command without needing to say it out loud. I do not return to the old frequency. Let that sentence stand like a guard at the gate of your mind. I do not return to the old frequency. The gate does not open because you pushed it. It opens because it recognizes what God has formed in you. It recognizes the steadier spirit. It recognizes the clearer signal. It recognizes the one who has learned that provision is not for performance, but for purpose. Now see yourself walking through that gate, not frantic, not desperate, not trying to prove anything. You walk through with reverence. You walk through with calm authority. You walk through carrying the lessons of the hidden season, but not the chains of the hidden season. And as you cross, the old financial story loses the right to speak first. It may try to speak again, but it no longer speaks first. Fear may knock again, but it no longer leads. Pressure may visit again, but it no longer names you. The signal is activated, and now the signal is guarded. God, seal this work in the heart of the one listening. Where their inner world has been trained by fear, retrain it in peace. Where their decisions have been rushed by panic, restore discernment. Where lack has shaped their expectations, awaken holy provision. Where old disappointment has made them suspicious of blessing, teach them to receive without fear. Let the signal you have activated inside them become clear, steady, and protected. Let them recognize the doors that are from you. Let them refuse the doors that only appeal to desperation. Let them carry increase without arrogance. Let them carry responsibility without fear. Let them carry provision without forgetting purpose. And let every old agreement with scarcity lose its power over their voice, their choices, their expectation, and their future. Chosen one, your wealth signal is activated. But remember what that really means. It does not mean you chase harder. It means you receive clearer. It does not mean you force every door. It means you discern the right one. It does not mean you worship wealth. It means you steward provision. It does not mean you become someone else. It means the person God has been forming in secret is finally allowed to rise. So do not return to the old frequency. Do not shrink your prayers to match your memories. Do not let delay interpret destiny. Do not let fear manage what faith has been assigned to carry. Do not let the old version of you negotiate with the gate God has already opened. Level 777 is not the end of your story. It is the threshold. It is the place where the hidden training begins to make sense. It is the place where the static breaks. It is the place where God says, finally, the signal is clear enough. And from this moment forward, when pressure comes, you will remember. When fear speaks, you will remember. When the old story tries to return, you will remember. Your signal is not dead. Your signal is not lost. Your signal is not buried anymore. It has been activated for alignment, for stewardship, for provision, for purpose, and for the next door God has prepared. Walk through it differently. Walk through it wisely. Walk through it with peace. Because the next level is not waiting for the old you. It is calling for the one God has been building all along.